The topic is heme synthesis and porphyrias. So what does porphyria mean? You can see the porphyria. Porphyria is derived from the terminology Greek. It is a Greek word. Porphyria means purple. It is a heme synthesis disorder in which those defective molecules are colorful molecules. That will give color to urine, and that is what this is called porphyria. So when you stand the urine for a for maybe longer time, so because of oxidation of those compounds, color will be produced, and that is why these are called porphyrias. So we will today talk about first heme synthesis. In this class, we will talk about heme synthesis. In next class, we will talk about porphyria. So porphyria is very important for your exam point of view also. So let's see. We have seen the what is heme. Heme. Can anybody tell me what is heme?
I think it refers to iron that is associated with the hemoglobin in the RBCs.
RBC. That is good. Hemoglobin. But heme. So hemoglobin is made up of heme and globin. So what is this heme actually? How do you define this heme? Tetrapyrrole. Heme is a tetrapyrrole structure. This is a tetra and then pyrrole. So what does pyrrole means? Pyrrole is heme is a tetrapyrrole. So this is the very big. If you catch this word pyrrole, you will understand the whole thing. This is a very big, small word but big impact. So pyrrole is a very important compound. You can see tetrapyrrole will arrange to form heme. So understand this pyrrole. What is this pyrrole? So this is pyrrole. So pyrrole, you can see this is a pentane ring with one nitrogen. This is a pentane ring, unsaturated pentane ring with two double bond. You can see with one nitrogen. This is a very important molecule. If you understand this, you will understand whole heme synthesis. You will understand heme. You will memorize as well. So you can see this. This is a tetrapyrrole ring. So actually, heme is synthesized first from this tetrapyrrole ring. So tetrapyrrole ring, this tetrapyrrole ring will polymerize like this. So polymerize like this, and then last formation of bond in heme synthesis will be a sort of inversion of this molecule. The molecule will rotate or invert, and then there will be bond formation like this. You can see. So remember the last polymerization, last formation of bond will be what? Last formation of bond will be reversal of this molecule. Did you understand this? Tell me.
Sir, could you explain that a little more?
So did you understand pyrrole ring?
Yes.
So pyrrole ring will polymerize. Okay. So heme is nothing but heme synthesis. Heme is a tetrapyrrole structure. And how is that heme synthesized? By polymerization of this this pyrrole. This one pyrrole will polymerize. Did you see polymerization? Did you see?
Yes, sir.
And then second will polymerize like this. And then third will polymerize. But third will polymerize, and fourth polymerization. Fourth will form the bond like this, but this is a linear molecule. But when this form bond with this molecule will invert. You can see in animation. Can you see inverting this?
Okay. Yes, sir.
And this will form a bond. So remember this inversion. This is a very important step in heme synthesis. So this 4-step, this polymerization, and then first this polymerization is a between phenomenon. So before polymerization, what will happen is this pyrrole ring, individual pyrrole ring is made by a compound called, glycine amino acid, and then succinyl coenzyme A will form a compound called ALA. What does it mean? Amino labulenic acid. Amino labulenic acid. You can see amino and acid. Amino acid. It is an amino acid that is not present in protein. And you can see glycine and succinyl coenzyme will form alpha. This is delta amino labulenic acid. Now this aminolabulinic, 2 aminolabulinic acid will form this ring. So understand this. Now, after formation of this polymerization, there will be ring modification. This tetrapyrrole ring modification. So did you understand before what happens before polymerization and after polymerization what happens?
Yes, sir.
In this ring modification, main reaction is decarboxylation reaction, removal of carboxy group, decarboxylation reaction. Okay, so if you understand this much, you understood the gist of your heme synthesis, and if you understand, this will give you a background for memorizing heme synthesis as well as understanding heme synthesis. This will provide you a very strong foundation, and it is not that difficult to memorize as well. Is it difficult?
No, sir.
No. Can you memorize these 2 molecules, glycine and succinyl coenzyme A will produce ALA?
Yes, sir.
And this ALA, this is a vitamin B6 requiring process. This is a very important process. This is how you can see vitamin B6 is involved in heme synthesis. A vitamin, very important vitamin, you can see is involved in heme synthesis. And this is done by zinc containing enzyme. These 2 steps are very important steps. Okay, these 2 are zinc containing enzyme. And you can see after ring modification, there will be decarboxylation. Last step of ring, because this is a ring, there has to be iron at the center. So last step is incorporation of iron. And this, you know, this iron and zinc both are divalent in case of hemoglobin. These are divalent. These are inserted in divalent form. You can see these are inserted in divalent form. So these 2 are divalent. And you can see a molecule called lead, Pb2. This is also a divalent atom. And this lead can compete with zinc and then iron as well. So lead poisoning will influence initial step and last step, second step and last step. Remember this, and lead poisoning is a very important part of this porphyrias for us. Lead poisoning is, for exam point of view also, is very important. So lead poisoning will influence this both ion. So did you understand this overall concept of this heme synthesis? If you understood, I will progress. So remember this decarboxylation step, don't forget, and then last step is heme incorporation. First step is vitamin B6 synthesis of ALA, then zinc. And first step happens in mitochondria. Now let's talk about you can see this iron incorporation. So these rings are named A, B, C, D. So D ring will rotate and will then form bond. So this, you can see, actually these are not a plain ring. This ring are not plain ring. There is a something. So there is like here methyl vinyl group is attached, and then you can see here, rather you can see this methyl vinyl and methyl propionyl. And then because of rotation of D ring, propionyl comes before. You can see methyl vinyl. Vinyl means 2 carbon compound. Methyl means 1 carbon, 2 carbon, 1 carbon, 2 carbon, MB, and M, this propionyl, MB, MP. And then there will be opposite because of inversion of this ring. There will be P and there will be M. So did you understand the sequence of this MB, MP? So you can see this MB in ring B, and C, MP, and then PM because of rotation of. This is the structure of porphyrin in heme. This is the structure of porphyrin. If you remove this iron, this becomes porphyrin. So when you incorporate iron, this becomes heme. So this is the final structure of heme. The sequence is MB, MP, and PM because of rotation of this. So you can What are the compounds? What are the compounds where heme is present? You know, two very important compounds are hemoglobin and myoglobin. But you forget this very important compound. So don't forget this. This is a very important compound. This is called cytochromes, and these cytochromes are present in electron transport chain, and it is present in endoplasmic reticulum. In endoplasmic reticulum, this is present in the form of enzyme. You know, in cytochromes, in electron transport chain, you know, cytochrome C being present there, cytochrome A and cytochrome A3. These are helpful in electron transport, but endoplasmic reticular cytochrome are enzymes. Cytochrome, these are called cytochrome 450 system. These are called cytochrome 450 system. So this cytochrome 450 system are very important enzymes that participate in drug metabolism. So this is, in other sense, you are studying pharmacology, foundation of pharmacology also. So this endoplasmic reticular enzyme, this is endoplasmic reticular enzyme. So this will participate in metabolism of drug. So you can see drug metabolism and detoxification of various toxic material that you eat every day in your food and other thing. So this is a very important enzyme, cytochrome heme containing enzyme that is present, heme containing enzyme that is present in endoplasmic reticulum, and this is plays very important crucial role in drug metabolism. Xenobiotic is foreign material metabolism, plus it is also very useful, very important for cholesterol synthesis and then hormone synthesis from this cholesterol. So we have seen those hormone synthesis. And then biosynthesis, you know, cytochrome 450, and there was 7, cytochrome 7. So this is a 7 hydroxylase. And it is an endoplasmic reticular cytochrome 450 system for biosynthesis. And vitamin D activation is 25 hydroxylase and 1 hydroxylase. These are also this enzyme, endoplasmic reticular enzyme. So this heme is very important part, plays very important part inside the cell also. And this is the main enzyme. Actually, a group of enzyme, a vast majority of group of single, it has a single family. It is a family called cytochrome 450, but it is placed in this family. And there are many types of enzyme under that family that actually metabolize, that actually functions, actually participate in a large variety of reaction. And all those reaction does only one thing, that is hydroxylation. All reaction does only one thing, that is hydroxylation. So you can see xenobiotic metabolism, cholesterol synthesis, cholesterol derived hormone synthesis, biosynthesis, and this is very important. That is why I don't want you to forget this about this enzyme, cytochrome 450 system. It is an oxidase, it is an hydroxylase, monooxygenase. So it is present in a group 1. So in enzyme, if you see, it is present in group 1. So remember this enzyme very well. Now this is, so I have told you these two are very important. And then intracellular cytochrome are heme containing compound, heme protein. Now we can go through heme synthesis. So heme synthesis, we will go through 3 processes. First we will see, I will told you, first is synthesis of PBG. First is synthesis. This is actually the porphyrin that is synthesized. This porphyrin actually is synthesized in this form. So porphyrin, it will have a carbon and then amino group here, and then this porphyrin will have this type of group. So propionyl group will be there, and this is COS. So this type of compound will be synthesized. This compound is not as such called porphyrin. This is the compound that will form porphyrin. This compound is called PBG. Okay, porphobilino PBG. So PBG. This is called porphyrin will produce. This will produce porphyrin. That's why this is called porphobilinogen. This compound is called porphobilinogen. And you know, porphobilinogen is made from ALA, and this is again made from glycine and what? Tell me. Succinyl coenzyme. And now this PBG will polymerize with to form porphyrin. First porphyrin is must soluble. This is called uro. You can remember U is soluble in urine. Uro porphyrin. Second group will be copro. Means that is soluble in, you can remember soluble in, that appear in stool. Copro porphyrin. And this least soluble is protoporphyrin. Will you remember this terminology? Tell me. Please be quick. We don't have that much time.
Yes, sir.
So remember, uroporphyrin from urine, copro is stool, copro also means stool, and then protoporphyrin, this is least soluble. And what is the difference between? Because I told you, this is because of modification, is because of decarboxylation reaction. So carboxy, less the carboxy group, COO minus group, less is the COO minus, less will be solubility. More is the COO minus group, carboxy group, more is the solubility. That is the difference. So you will see, we will see that difference. Less carboxy, this will be decarboxylated ultimately from protoporphyrin. And remember this modification. And then, so if you remember this, so based on this three group of porphyrin, you can classify porphyrin, you can memorize porphyrin. Some porphyrin are uroporphyrin, porphyria. Some are uroporphyria, uroporphyria. Some are uroporphyrias. Other are coproporphyrias, porphyrias. And third is protoporphyria. So this three category of molecular porphyria will be there. And you see, I'll tell you, we will, but so I will tell you there are only three important porphyria we will study about. So one is AIP. Remember the name. Memorize. These are very essential things that you must not forget. AIP, those things which are very important, I am telling you in the beginning. So AIP, then second porphyria will be lead poisoning. Lead poisoning. This lead poisoning is called acquired coproporphyria. Acquired coproporphyria. You know, it will compete with zinc and iron, porphyria. So, and third important is one uroporphyria, that is called Porphyria cutanea tarda. So this is acute porphyria, intermittent means acute, and then intermittent symptom will arise. Symptom will arise intermittently. Intermittent, not continuous. Acute intermittent porphyria. Now this is acquired coproporphyria. This is basically uroporphyria. You will see uroporphyrin in the blood and in urine. So this is called porphyria. This is a chronic type of porphyria. Porphyria cutanea tarda. What does chronic means? Symptoms will not be that severe. Here symptom will be very severe. Abdominal pain will be there. Very severe abdominal visceral pain will be there. This type of porphyria is called acute porphyria. The presentation will be skin presentation, because below skin this porphyrin will deposit. When such patients are exposed to light, what will happen? Blister will be formed on the skin, and that will cause the problem, and that problem is basically chronic. When the patient come out of the house, when the patient is exposed to light, then only problem will appear, and that is why this is not that severe. If patient stays inside the room, so such patient will not have problem. And that is why this is a chronic type of, this is chronic. We will study two chronic type of porphyria, and then this is acquired. This is not genetic. Lead poisoning is a acquired porphyria. So we will study about we will actually focus, we will study all, but we will focus mainly on, because these are important for exam point of view, acute intermittent porphyria and porphyria cutaneous tarda. So you need to know about other things as well. But this, if you understand this too, you will memorize other as well. So did you understand this three porphyria, what I told? Did it make sense? Yes?
Yes, it did.
Okay. So we will talk about these two genetic porphyria. This is acquired. So don't forget this, at least this much things that I told you right now. Now, in porphyria, what is more important? We generally do test. So we do test in urine. We actually, first is urine. We separate this actually porphyria based on urine. Urine is the very important. Then also we can do in stool. And first, urine is very important. Urine, stool, blood. So everywhere we do test. We use urine sample as well as stool plus blood. So in other condition, like if you see other, let's say example of other diseases, for example, diabetes, you don't take stool generally. You take urine sometimes only. Generally, you take blood. In other disorders also, you take, many diseases, you take blood only. So here we take urine, stool, blood, all, in order to segregate porphyria, just for your information only. And then you will see dermis, that is different. Now clinical, we will first, clinical presentation is also very, very important in such condition. We segregate disorder also based on clinical presentation. And then we will find out later, we will find out which enzyme is deficient. So we will classify that way disorders. So you don't have to take too much burden, because you need to focus on only three type of porphyria. First is acute intermittent porphyria. Second is lead poisoning, that is acquired coproporphyria. And third is porphyria cutaneous tarda, PCT, proximal convoluted tubule. You can remember that well, PCT, porphyria cutaneous tarda. Now you can see these three stages. This is the stages I have shown you this ring formation, tetrapyral ring formation, and then PBG and tetrapyral ring formation I told you. And then before this is ALA. And then after maturation of ring, mainly decarboxylation. And last reaction is iron insertion. So decarboxylation, iron insertion, here is ring formation, PBG synthesis and ring formation. And first is ALA synthesis. You can see this is called PBG, porphobilinogen. This is actually porphyrin ring. You can see at the center, can you see porphyrin ring at the center? Tell me. Can you see porphyrin ring at the center?
Yes, sir.
So at the center, you can see porphyrin ring. And this porphyrin with one part, you can see there are 3 carbon containing and 2 carbon containing. This is propionic acid, this is ethanoic acid. So side chain, ethanoyl side chain, propionoyl side chain is there, and there is one amino methyl group is there. So this is actually a PBG. So PUBG, a very famous name, that is why I've inserted, so that from PUBG you remember the name. PBG is porphobilinogen. Porphyrin, the term porpho come from porphyrin, because it will produce a porphyrin ring. That is why porphogen is producing. So this molecule is going to produce porphyrin ring, and that is why this is called porphobilinogen. Now this compound is actually a very important compound to remember. Also because this is a very important compound that is implicated in pathogenesis of AIP, acute intermittent porphyria. This is a very important compound that is actually cause for pathogenesis of acute intermittent porphyria. This compound, PBG, is very important compound that is implicated in acute intermittent porphyria. Will you remember this?
Yes,
PBG, yes, remember this PBG is very important compound that is implicated in pathogenesis of acute intermittent porphyria. Okay, acute intermittent porphyria. This plus this ring, ALA, ALA ring. These two are very important for pathogenesis of acute intermittent porphyria. This and this. Now, see what happens. Why you can remember this ring as? Can you see this very compound like? It is an arrow-like compound. Can you imagine this like an arrow-like compound? If you cannot imagine, I'll give you a clue. Can you see it like arrow?
Yes,
Tell
sir.
me. Can you put into your imagination this compound like arrow? This is an arrow. Arrow is being a porphyrin ring, and two side chains are there. So remember this way. So this is nothing but this is a very poisonous type of arrow that will cause AIP. So now, if you understood what is PBG, so it will be easy for us to understand this. With this background, it will be very easy to talk about heme synthesis. So heme synthesis is actually conserved from prokaryote to eukaryote, very conserved pathway, and this includes 8 steps. 8 steps. 4 steps happens in mitochondria and 4 steps outside the mitochondria in cytosol. You can see the first step and last 3 steps. First step is, as I told you, ALA synthase. This is the rate limiting enzyme, and this enzyme contains vitamin B6, a very important concept. So ALA synthase is a rate limiting enzyme, and this contains vitamin B6. And last 3 reaction, last 3 reaction, which among these 2 are oxidase, CPO and PPO, oxidase. And last is function of last enzyme is to incorporate iron inside. So CPO, PPO and ferrochelatase, these 3 reactions will happen inside mitochondria. Now these are the 4 reactions that will happen outside the mitochondria. These are one reaction, 2 ALA will come, and this ALA will form PBG, and this is done by enzyme called dehydratase. This will remove water, H2O, and because of removal of H2O, this PBG molecule will be synthesized to ALA, long chain. ALA is long chain, and this ALA will form like this. This ALA will form PBG. You can see, I'll tell you how does this ALA form. So this ALA come here. So asymmetrically, ALA will be placed asymmetrically like this, and then because amino, this has amino group will be placed like this here, and then bond formation. Can you see? Very easy. So if you remember thing easy way, this becomes very easy. So this is how 2 ALA come and form PBG, porphobilinogen. And this porphobilinogen, 4 porphobilinogen will come, and it will form a long linear porphobilinogen molecule. And this is polymerization step, and this is done by PBG deaminase. And this porphobilinogen will actually polymerized porphobilinogen will be modified through these steps, and it will come in protoporphyrin and heme. So we will talk about each step. I will take you to the tour of the molecular structure, how this molecular structure is glycine and succinyl coenzyme modified, and then ultimately will form heme. I'll take you to that tour. Just memorize the name of enzyme first. 8 step. 1 step is mitochondria, 3 step is mitochondria, 4 step is cytosol. First 1 and last 3 is mitochondria. So this is rate limiting step. And then how is rate limited? You know, the product are inhibitor. So this is product here, heme is product. So heme will inhibit this reaction. Elsewhere, heme will inhibit the reaction. There are, say, I will tell you about ALA synthesis. There are 2 types of ALA synthesis. But for the time being, just remember, heme will inhibit ALA synthesis 1. This is ALA synthesis 1. Heme will inhibit ALA synthesis 1. Now you can remember this enzyme's name this way. ALA salad from you can maybe it will be useful. So you can make it rhymes. ALA salad, PBGD, urosurod, CPO, PPO, and fetch. So likewise, you can remember this 8 enzyme name. There are 8 enzymes, and CPO, PPO. These are oxidases. Only two oxidases are there. CPO, alasalar, PBGD, urosirode, CPO, PPO, FH. So like that, you can remember the name of enzyme if you want. So this is the first enzyme, ala synthase. You know, I want to show this is a rate limiting enzyme. This has got two proteins. You can see I have already told you all rate limiting enzymes are which type of enzyme? Allosteric enzyme. So you can remember this is allosteric enzyme, and this has got vitamin B6 at the center. You can see vitamin B6 here. PLP is there, and PLP, two protein PLP is there at the center. That is what I want to show from this picture. This is a very important part of ALA synthase. And you remember, vitamin B6 is required for heme synthesis. And there are two types of ALA synthase. First, I told you, first are present everywhere. And then it is actually regulated by first ALA synthase. First is regulated by heme, feedback regulation. But other type of this ALA synthase type 2, it is present in bone marrow only. And you know, heme synthesis happens in bone marrow and liver mainly. So in bone marrow, this ALA synthase 2 is present, and it is actually activated by iron. So more iron, more. So activation of ALA synthase 2. So this is, you can see a positive feed forward regulation for this. And this is here you will see feedback regulation. So we will, these are two types of, you can focus, and they have different, these are derived from different gene. You can see these are different. This one is derived from chromosome number 3, and this is derived from X chromosome. Did you understand this? Now this is ALA dehydratase. So second enzyme that actually will actually join this two ALA molecule like this. Two ALA molecule like this by releasing of water. And this is a zinc containing enzyme. I have to show zinc because this zinc will be, the lead will compete with this zinc, and that is how lead will inhibit this enzyme, ALA dehydratase enzyme. So remember, the purpose of this showing this whole enzyme is to show zinc containing enzyme. This is a zinc containing enzyme. Okay, you can see here. See, this is a zinc containing enzyme. So don't focus on this, and this will react like this. So this is one molecule, iron like this. So it will form like this. So this is ALA dehydratase, second enzyme. So let's see. I will take you to the tour of the molecular rearrangement, how this glycine, this is glycine and this is succinate. How this glycine and succinyl coenzyme succinate forms heme. So we will take to that tour. So first this glycine and this succinyl coenzyme will form ALA. How does it form? Because by the influence of vitamin B6, there will be decarboxylation. This carboxy group will be released. Now you can see there will be formation of short term in term of bond, and this bond formation will release carboxy group, and this vitamin B6 will help this catalyze this reaction. Vitamin B6 actually bind here somewhere, and then after bind this amino group, by binding this amino group, it will cause decarboxylation and then formation of bond with this. You can see. So this is ALA by the action of enzyme 1. Now ALA is synthesized. Now let's talk about the second reaction. So two ALA molecule, delta amino labulinic. Labulinic acid, you can see a 5 carbon compound. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 carbon compound. Okay, with one carboxy group, one amino group. Carboxy amino, this is an amino acid with one oxo group. So you can see this oxo group is very important. So this will form bond with this, and this oxo group will form bond with this like this. So this becomes a PBG, porphobilinogen, a toxic molecule if it is accumulated. If it is not utilized, it becomes toxic. So you can see this formation, this conversion of this two ALA to PBG is done by second enzyme. The enzyme name is ALA dehydratase, ALAD, ALAD. ALA dehydratase will do this function, and zinc is a requirement. And you can understand, I have already given you the glimpse of the structure. I have already explained the structure of this molecule. Now you can see how it will now polymerize, and polymerization will be done by the enzyme called third enzyme. This is called porphobilinogen deaminase, PBGD. So PBG is third enzyme. You can see it will do polymerization like this. Again, third enzyme will do, third molecule will come and polymerize. Fourth molecule will come and polymerize. This is done by the enzyme called PBGD, porphobilinogen deaminase. This linear compound is called hydroxymethylbutyrate, HMB. Okay, that is why this enzyme sometimes also called HMBS, hydroxymethylbilin synthase. So this is the ring formation. You can see linear ring formation. Now there will be formation of this pyrrole ring. There will be formation tetrapyrrole closed ring. So this is porphyrin. You can see. So this is ABCD ring. Now you can see here. You can see the rotation of this. So this is a 2 carbon. It will go that side. Just watch this. Can you see the rotation? Tell me. Can you see the rotation? Be quick. Can you see the rotation?
Yes, sir.
So this is the first molecule that is called uroporphyrin. And uroporphyrin is in name given 3. There are many types of, we are not concerned right now. If see what happens if this enzyme, this inversion is done by the enzyme that is called fourth enzyme. The fourth enzyme is called uroporphyrinogen synthase. If this enzyme is not present, what will happen? There will be formation of this closed ring, but there will not be inversion. And this type of this without in the compound that is without inversion is called uroporphyrinogen 1. The compound straightway, if straightway there will be formation of bond, this compound is called uroporphyrinogen Europe 1. This will be Europe 1. And inversion will form Europe 3. Did you understand the difference between Europe 1 and Europe 3?
Yes, sir.
Just inversion. So this is Europe 3. Now, as I told you, after formation of this porphyrin, uroporphyrinogen, the difference between this uroporphyrinogen, coproporphyrinogen, protoporphyrinogen, main difference will be decarboxylation. Now, this fifth enzyme comes. This enzyme is called uroporphyrinogen decarboxylase, UROD. So uroporphyrinogen decarboxylase. Now you can see that there are 8 carboxy group here. 8 carboxy group. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So among these 8 carboxy, these 2, so ethanoic acid carboxy group will be released. This ethanoic carboxy group will be released in one go actually by enzyme called this uroporphyrinogen decarboxylase. But I will show you step by. So you can see the removal of this, and then again removal of this here, again removal, you will see somewhere here, and then removal of this. So this 4 carboxy group will be removed in one step only, but I have shown you because I have shown you stepwise only. This is done by decarboxylase enzyme. This is a very important enzyme we will require for, actually this is deficiency of this enzyme leads to PCT, porphyria cutanea tarda. Porphyria cutanea tarda. This leads to porphyria cutanea tarda. And I'll tell you one more thing. And those enzymes that actually form this linear, 4 linear, this urode enzyme. This urode enzyme deficiency will cause AIP. So those enzymes that will polymerize this, the deficiency of polymerizing enzyme will lead to AIP, and deficiency of decarboxylase enzyme will result in PCT. This is 5th enzyme. Now, after we have seen this urode, so there will be 2 oxidase enzyme here, CPO and PPO. Coproporphyrin, this becomes a coproporphyrin molecule. You can say this is a coproporphyrin after removal of this 4 carboxy group from this. After removal of carbox, this becomes methyl group here. Now there will be removal of 2 more carboxy group and addition of double bond will be here. So this carboxy group will be released by CPO. CPO is coproporphyrinogen oxidase. This is a mitochondrial enzyme. You can see the removal of these 2 here and here. Can you see? This is done by CPO. And now Again, removal of 2-carboxy will lead to, this will convert the compound into protoporphyrinogen. So this coproporphyrinogen 3 will convert into protoporphyrinogen. It is done by coproporphyrinogen oxidase, protoporphyrinogen. And protoporphyrinogen is given 9, number 9. Now protoporphyrinogen will convert into protoporphyrin by insertion of double bond here, at this place. Okay, can you see insertion of double bond here? Tell me. Outside the ring? Tell me.
Yes, sir.
And this is done by PPO, protoporphyrinogen oxidase. And this converts into protoporphyrin ring. This converts this protoporphyrinogen in gen 9 into protoporphyrin ring. Now this ring is ready for incorporation of iron. The last step is called ferrochelatase. So insertion of iron will happen to this last step. So this is the insertion of. So this is how first ring for first what will happen? First what will happen? This ALA will be synthesized. This ALA will form, 2 ALA will form a ring called PBG, and this 4 PBG will form bilane, hydroxymethyl and the enzyme required for this is porphobilinogen deaminase. This is a very third enzyme, is very important, polymerizing enzyme. Deficiency of this enzyme will cause AIP. Now what will happen is this reaction. So there will be inversion of this D ring, and this forms 3. If inversion does not happen, this will be 1, uroporphyrinogen 1. So this is the most soluble because 8 carboxy group is there. Now 4 carboxy group will go, and this will form coproporphyrin. So this will form a coproporphyrin, and this is reaction is done by decarboxylase enzyme, and this is a very important 5th number enzyme is important because it deficiency of this enzyme cause PCT. Now you can say this. So 6th number enzyme will again cause decarboxylation as well as insertion of double bond, and this is called CPO. And then 7th number enzyme is PPO, it will cause insertion of double bond, and 8th number enzyme will cause incorporation of iron. So this pathway may look very difficult, but it is not that difficult. So you don't have to, you have to just have a grasp concept out of that. So what is uroporphyrinogen? As I've told you, cyclization without inversion of D ring. You can see in absence of urose enzyme, uroporphyrinogen synthase enzyme, there will not be inversion of this D ring. There will not be inversion of D ring. This is called uroporphyrinogen 1. So this is all about porphyrinogen synthesis. So did you understand this heme synthesis? Did you all understand heme synthesis?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now we will, if you have understood heme synthesis, I will talk about porphyrias. Okay, I will talk about porphyrias here. So let's first, what is the first enzyme? Can anyone tell me? Let's revise. What is the first enzyme? What is the substrate from which heme is synthesized? First substrate?
Is it ALA?
ALA. ALA is synthesized from?
Glycine and succinyl-CoA.
Yes, don't forget this, okay? Glycine is an amino acid. Succinyl coenzyme is derived from Krebs cycle. So Krebs cycle, this is how Krebs cycle also contributes in heme synthesis. Succinyl coenzyme. That is why Krebs cycle is very versatile cycle. Succinyl coenzyme will produce, first enzyme is ALA synthase. ALAS, ALA synthase. ALAD. Second enzyme is ALAD. What is the name of this second enzyme? ALA dehydratase. So this will actually convert to ALA. This will form ALA. Okay. To ALA will form
PBG.
PBG, very good. And then third enzyme is this one, PBGD. PBGD. Other name is also HMBS. HMBS, hydroxymethyl bilane synthase. This is an enzyme that will cause polymerization. PBGD will cause polymerization of this ALA. This enzyme will synthesize what? PBG. This will synthesize ALA. This will synthesize PBG. Now fourth enzyme is urose, urose. And then fifth enzyme is urode. S, D, you can see S and D, synthase and decarboxylase. And sixth enzyme is CPO, PPO. So very rhyming words are there. So you can easily remember the sequence of. Eighth is ferrochelated, fetch. It fetch the iron from somewhere and put it into the iron. Now you can see which will produce which molecule. This ALA synthase will produce ALA. This ALA dehydratase will produce what? Porphobilinogen. And this is an enzyme. This will cause polymerization. This will form HMB, hydroxymethyl bilane. This is molecule. This will cause first synthesis of porphyrin ring, uroporphyrin, uroporphyrinogen 3. Now this is the molecule. It will cause decarboxylation, and this will produce what? Coproporphyrin, coproporphyrinogen 3. Now this is the molecule that will cause conversion of this coproporphyrinogen into protoporphyrin. Protoporphyrin 9. Whenever we talk protoporphyrin, just put the number 9. That's it. Protoporphyrinogen, this is gen, and this is protoporphyrin. This will cause protoporphyrin. Now protoporphyrin is ready for accepting iron. So this now become heme. So this is the molecular transition. Now I will tell you. So let's talk about porphyria. So deficiency of this will cause which porphyria? Polymerizing enzyme deficiency. Tell me. This will cause polymerization of 3. Polymerization of this. Yes, tell me.
I'm not sure. Does it lead to Europe 1?
Which porphyria? Porphyria, I'm talking about porphyria.
Okay.
This enzyme deficiency that will cause this polymerization. This is enzyme. So this will cause porphyria. Which porphyria? AIP. Did you understand this?
Yes, sir.
This is this type of molecule. It will produce this type of HMB is this type of molecule. You can see. If you consider this porphyrin, this is this type of molecule. So this PBG is this. PBG is like this molecule. PBG will convert into polymerase. So if this enzyme is not there, what happens? This will accumulate high. Don't you think this will accumulate high?
Yes, sir.
And you know this is pathogenic, and that's why it will cause damage to brain and abdomen. Abdomen and brain. It will cause damage to abdomen and brain. AB. Did you understand AIP nicely? Yeah?
Yes, sir.
Now, so AIP, the age is very important in porphyrin. AIP appear in puberty age. Puberty. Okay, remember puberty. So there is an explanation why it happens in puberty. So puberty, female, generally female. Because female has estrogen. Estrogen has a very impact on this disease. That is why it appears in female. So AIP, female. And remember, these all porphyrias are autosomal dominant. These are autosomal dominants, except one. I will tell you. Now this will appear in puberty. What next? This is fifth. This is third enzyme. This is fifth. So now this urose porphyrinogen synthase will cause ring to polymerize. Okay, form a ring, tetrapyrrole ring. Now this tetrapyrrole ring will form, and this will cause decarboxylation. If this enzyme is deficient, what does it will do? Which porphyria? Tell me. Second porphyria I told you to remember. AIP, first is. Second is proximal convoluted tubule.
PCT.
Porphyria. P for porphyria. C for cutania. P for tarda. Okay, PCT. Will you remember this? PCT. Will you remember the name of two enzymes? At least. First is this and this enzyme. PBGD and urode.
Yes, sir.
Remember these two enzymes only. I don't want to remember all porphyrias. Remember these two enzymes. Don't forget about this. I will give you idea about other porphyria as well, but memorize these two very nicely. PBGD, porphyria, this PUBGD, is porphobilinogen deaminase, will cause AIP. And you know this porphobilinogen, just imagine it is a polymerizing enzyme. It will form a linear polymer. And this enzyme, if this enzyme is absent, polymer will not be formed. And this monomer are very toxic. Remember that. And this enzyme, that porphobilinogen, this will actually, this is a magneto. It will absorb all the carboxy group. That way you can remember. So if this enzyme is deficient, this will cause porphyria, cutania, tarda. And there is third is lead poisoning. So lead poisoning will inhibit which two enzymes? Which enzyme has zinc? Yes, tell me.
The eighth enzyme.
Which enzyme?
The eighth one.
Yes. Which one?
Will it inhibit the eighth one?
I did not get what you told. Lead will inhibit which enzyme?
The one responsible for incorporation of iron.
Oh yes. So which is that enzyme?
Fetch.
Yes, last enzyme. That is good. So and then also zinc containing enzyme. Which is zinc containing enzyme? Number 2 enzyme. So zinc has got 2 charge. You can remember number 2 enzyme. Did you understand? This will inhibit both enzymes. And this is also called, other name of this iron, this lead induced porphyria is also called acquired. Tell me what is coproporphyria. So did you remember these 3 porphyrias? AIP, acute intermittent porphyria, PBGD, acute intermittent porphyria is efficiency of enzyme causing polymerization, this PBGD. And then urode, PCT, is a magneto causing absorbing this all the carboxy group. And this happens in the age after 40. In X-Men, magneto also has the age of more than 40 maybe. So you can remember this. So very distinct disorder. Age is 40, old age, about old age, this is in young age. So you can separate easily these two. And you have to remember only 2 genetic porphyria, 1 lead poison. Will you remember? So memorize these 3 porphyria.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay. So we will talk about those porphyria later. Okay. Take care. Bye.
Bye, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you all.